Good evening and welcome back. So, today I want to jump back into the options menu and try to figure out the issue that we have with our axis mappings here. So, let's see what we have. Last time I did the action key mappings here and added in check if the key is already in use and reset this to the previous mapping if it was, and also show a message box if the setting was already if the mapping was already set. And that took a few tries, and we have a few kind of branches or if statements here. So that should be fine now. And here we are setting the new ones. So that all works. Now we just need to kind of make do the same thing for the axis key mappings. Let's see. Let's just copy all this, or at least copy this part here. Because that last part is working. So let's add that in here. And let's see, what do we have here? I already have the axis mappings here, so we don't need that part. But I don't have this yet, so let's do that first. Break this, and then we get the key here, and we also need to create a local variable. Now first let's make input chart. Is that correct? No, we need this as a key mapping, not input chart. You want this. And we have the key here, and we want the axis name, which we can get here, and we need the scale. And then from here we are promoting that to a local variable, which is our new axis mapping. Okay, that's the first part here. Setting our local values here. And for this we don't need modify keys. So that should be fine. Okay, so this part here is actually changing the keys. So that's the thing that happens last. Okay, and here go into this for each, this break, and we go through all the action mappings. I just noticed an issue here because we also need to go through the axis mappings as well, not just the action mappings. So we might need to add to this, and I think I would just want to collapse this to a function because it's something that we reuse all the time, and this I can't collapse because here we are doing a different kind of mapping. So I need to change this from action mapping and all that stuff to the right variables at the moment. But this here we will kind of reuse. So let's mark all that. And yeah, collapse that to a function. And then we do need that mapping found here. And set this. Which means this here needs to return that value. So once this is completed, we have a return node. and return this here. Okay, so we go in here. And then go through that. But like I said, we need to add the axis mappings here as well. So basically what we need to do here is, we also need to input this input chart here is something that we need to set. From the outside. And here we get the issue that this is not set, and also in action name. Wait. Oh, that's on the action menu. Okay. Yeah, that's not set. That's correct. Okay, that should be there. Now at least that part here should work. Yeah. I mean, yeah, okay, this still doesn't work, but it's okay. Is alt binding? Wait. Why is that not correct? And here we need the chart. Okay. And in here we need to copy this part. With a few small changes. So the first thing is, if we So let's put that back here. So if we already found our mapping, then we just return that out. If not, we go in here. And here we are not getting action names, but get access names. And we are checking against that key. So if you haven't found it, if you have found it by now, by this point, we're returning. Otherwise, we return it down here. With that value. Should be okay, so we can go in here and remove that. I'm setting up key bindings or action and access mappings for keys in an options menu. Yeah, that's my options menu and controls menu. And at the moment I'm working on the part of the code that sets the actual key that I'm pressing, and I'm checking if the key is already in use or not. It's an exploration adventure game. Let me show you in a moment. Just want to connect this here and then see if it does anything. Let's set this. Connect it here. Okay, let's see. This is not compiling. That's because we have a lot of issues over here. So let's not continue the code here, just remove things that we are not connecting here. Okay. Now I should be able to show you the game. Let's just load a save game here. It's an exploration adventure game. Kind of a mixture between point and click adventure game, old school point and click adventure game, and kind of open world exploration. Okay, it's compiling a lot of shaders in the background because I haven't opened the map yet. So it takes a moment. But for some reason it didn't load in the right level here. That's not good. Because we're missing pickups. Should be a bunch of crates here, otherwise we can't work with that. And I also think that maybe the AI didn't load as well. Yep, AI didn't load as well. Damn it. So I can't show you that part, but we can let the shaders compile and then I can start a new game. It's just because the shaders were not compiled properly. The game itself runs a bit better. But yes, I need a lot of optimization, that's true. But it was compiling shaders, that's why it needed a long time to load stuff and had a hiccup loading stuff as well. And so let's wait for those shaders to compile properly and then start it up again. Okay. Sounds like something really ambitious. Let me ask another question. How big is your team? Even though, also for a small team, an MMO is still something really big. Yeah, 5 people, that's still not enough for an MMORPG, I would say. I mean, okay, to create the world and start this thing, maybe, but to maintain it, you need a lot more. Okay, let's jump in. Just do a new game. Okay, so you get a few questions at the start. Don't matter that much. Let's just select her. Yeah, you can show pictures if you want. And there we go, yeah. In here, can move around, can interact with specific objects in the world. If I left click, we have a different kind of interaction than right click. Even though for some reason the left click doesn't work, which is awesome. Yep, left click doesn't work. Damn it. I must have changed it at some point in the settings here. Let me check what my input settings are for this. So let's see. Interact. Oh yeah, I know why. I know why it's not working. I changed the name of an input part, but I didn't change the event that's firing for the character. So that's quite important to change those. Yeah. Can't find the input action fire anymore. Maybe look at that. Okay. So it's a not quite sure what the art style is called, poly art or something like that, where you just have colors basically for your character and not really textures. It's a popular art style, even though I don't really like them for my stuff. Okay. Let's delete that. Yeah. Looks good. Okay. But the thing is, I'm mostly kind of doing stuff that I shouldn't do in the way that I'm trying to use an art style that I can't produce assets for all the things that I need. So input. Hello. Action events. Interact. That's the one I need. I mean, stick with the style you like. I'm fine. And you? Because the style you like is something that you are passionate to create more stuff with and experiment with. So definitely go for that. Okay, what is this? Lookup rate. Red controller. Oh, okay, so yeah. Let's remove that because we are not using a controller at the moment. Yeah, that's always the thing. There are so many games out there, and you can't be sure that your game will be played. But you need to figure out kind of a strategy to kind of market it or show it to other people and get eyes on it, depending on how far you're into development. If you're just starting out, then it doesn't matter much, but if you're already doing quite a lot, then okay, now it works. Awesome. And we can also open doors. Pick up items. Okay, the door's locked. We need a key for that. And if you go in here, it's quite dark, so let's toggle our light. And here we have the key. There are a few issues with this map, that lighting is not built properly. So, something I still need to do, but haven't done yet. And then we have branching dialogue here to get a bit of information out of characters. Or get quests in some cases. Wait, we do have a quest here. Hired to find a recipe for a magical ale. And at the moment we are kind of in... No, he's not T-posing. There's an issue with the shoulder bones. It's not a T-pose. He's in. I mean, the textures are fucked up, but it's because I haven't renewed them yet. But it's his shoulders that have issues. He's in an idle pose, but it looks a bit strange. And it would be more of an A pose than a T pose, if you go for those terms. Yeah, but there are also small puzzle elements like this pressure plate here. Let me show you. This is a pressure plate. We step on it, it goes down. Step off, it goes up again. Now I just picked up this crate, moved it on top of it, so it stays down. And now all the lights are on. And this switch here appeared. Now we do have a magic portal! Yay! Now we can talk to this guy, and he has a changed dialogue. Now we have a bit of humor in here. Then we jump in and we are falling down. And we hit the ground, but nothing happened. Because there's no fall damage or anything in the game. I don't know either, but I like that I created a puzzle. That's maybe why. No, there's a reason why there's no fall damage. And there's also... There are two reasons. Reason number one is there are no stats. You don't have health or stamina or anything like that. Reason number two is that there's a magic field in the world that no one gets hurt. Yeah, I know that I need to create a lot more puzzles than the ones that I have. To get better at puzzles and also to have more puzzles. Now we should be able to walk up here. Talk to this guy. Or talk to a guy in here. There he is. Okay, we can exit out, we can just check. Oh, okay, so... Yeah, that's a bit strange. We should only get this done once we talked completely with him, but I haven't said so. If we talk to him, we get that part done in the quest. Now we have a different thing, so we kind of skipped everything. Me too, but the thing is, I was thinking of something like that, but I kind of created this big mountainous area and wasn't sure if any floating islands would fit into that. So I added them. So I didn't add them. So this big area here. Parts of it is not loading because the distance is too much. And I'm using a world composition, which is not loading parts because I haven't set this up properly. Yeah, definitely. And like in a lot of open world games, you're able to just walk anywhere in the world you want. Then you find stuff like this. Something down there. Library that posted on Discord. Not quite sure what you mean. Library posted on Discord. Let me check something. Where did I post that? Oh, yeah. Library. Yeah, the library outside. Yeah, okay. Troll library. I just figured it out. Yeah, it turned out okay. It's not done yet completely, but it turned out okay so far. It's just can show you in game. It's a bit of a walk from here, but it should be possible to get there. Yeah, I did see your idea, but that's something for a later kind of date for in the game where you can add new locations and all that stuff. Kind of DLC, you would call it that. So I mean, I could just add floating islands around here somewhere. If I just add some rocks and let them float in the air. Let's see. Yeah, then in the distance we can see the library. The troll library entrance. That's where we are walking to at the moment. Walking towards. Just need to find a way where I'm not getting stuck. Not sure. Let's go up here. I could do that, yeah. Could definitely do that. Okay, so there in the distance we can see the library, and the columns are glowing slightly. It's that strange light show there. We can also see mushrooms in the distance, glowy mushrooms. And another beacon where the mage tower is, that I recently added in as well. Yeah, here we have the glowy mushrooms. They're a bit too bright, and the underwater plants are also slightly too bright for my taste, but all stuff we can tweak later. And here we are at the troll library. I mean, it's dark now, so we can't see it completely, but you can see the part that's showing here a bit. Also get our light out so we can walk around here a bit and have a look. Yep, there we are. They also have kind of a shine to them, so it's some kind of crystal that's glowing there. Yeah, that's it. That's the library so far. Or the exterior of the library. The interior is something I'm thinking about adding later, maybe as a DLC or something like that, but won't be in the first version of the game, basically. Won't be in at release, let's call it that way. Yeah, and then we can also talk to the troll guard here. And we could also pick up a quest from this guy. Yeah, the problem is that I was thinking of having the trolls having technology and automatons and stuff like that. So I would need to create them, and that's why I was saying, okay, that's not part of this game, or not part of the main game. Would be some kind of expansion or DLC. And now we have another quest, even though the button here looks a bit strange, but yeah, we can find a chest on the dragon's spine. Check here. Okay, we don't get anything in the glossary yet. We didn't get anything in the glossary yet, so we need to figure out what the dragon's spine is. And I'm not sure if a lot of people in town know that already. Why is that? Just saw something. It shouldn't be there. Do I still have the donation thing up? Donation goal? Oh, and now it's going into negative. Awesome. Because I didn't stop it. That's really, really awesome. Okay, so I need to stop that. Give me a second. Let's see, can I do that from here? Okay, I need to do that later, but let's just turn that off for the moment. I'm no longer doing that. Where is it? Okay. I mean, if you want, you can still send me money, but I wanted to buy that soon. Hello. How are you? Okay, so now it should be gone. Because negative numbers for days are a bit strange. or hours in that case. Okay, let's go back to the options menu. And yeah, another comment to the game. There's a lot of stuff that still needs to be done for the game, and at the moment I'm kind of picking small kind of random aspects of the game, tweak a bit on them, and try to fix it, even though I kind of wanted to finish specific aspects and then go to the next thing. And I kind of started with this the beginning of the week, so to finish the key bindings. If all that is working, then I can go into other parts. Okay, let's see. So check this. And if a mapping is found, then we go in here. Otherwise, we go down here and set the new mapping. Okay, let's see. We definitely need to change a lot of things in here. First thing we need to figure out is how to change this from action mappings to access mappings. So let's access mapping by name. And then we get our access name here. Do the same down here. And then we need to change this here as well. Even though I think we also need to change this here. Action name, this also needs to be changed. Okay, the issue with axis mappings is that we have positive and negative scales on those. Which means we need to check what the scale is. And then select the right key for that. This is also wrong for some reason. Okay, and here we also need to input the key selector here. So we need an input key selector for this. So it's that. And object reference. Let's compile this first. Here we go. Okay, so that part is working. Okay, let's see. So basically here we need to do the same we are doing for the initialization. Which is down here. Game of my dreams. Never really was my dream game that I wanted to make. It was a game I wanted to make, but not my dream game per se. And in some aspect, it turned into a nightmare. But apart from that, it's still okay. It's still something I wanted to do. And I started it and I want to finish it. So that's another thing. Let's go on here. Okay, so let's see. Yes, definitely. There are a lot of aspects that I didn't like about Unity, and I don't regret the switch to Unreal. But I mean, I switched at a point where it was okay to switch the engine, because I already had the prototype phase done and would need to start production basically. So kind of needed to start the game from the beginning anyway, so it doesn't really matter what engine I was in, because I would need to refine all the mechanics anyway and change them slightly. So starting in a new engine, I just started from scratch in that regard, at least. The terrain tools are a lot better, definitely. I really like blueprints, visual scripting. I like that it's not so reliant on the asset store or marketplace as Unity is. I mean, I also like the material editor, but Unity has its own material, node-based material editor by now. So that wasn't there when I switched, but it's there now. I mean, I like the aspect that I can, if I wanted to, go into the engine source code and change stuff there. That's also something I really like about Unreal Engine. So I have full source code access, which I don't have in Unity. And for the next project or some kind of side project, I really need to jump into C++ and do a bit more with the engine that I'm doing at the moment. And though I might not really have the time for that, because I start something new in August, where I'm kind of going back to school and have less time to work on the game. No, you can create your whole game in Blueprints without touching any line of code, of C++ code. In some cases, it's a bit more, not really complicated, but it the options that you have are a bit limited, so you need to do a lot of workarounds. One of this is what I'm doing here at the moment with the key bindings and stuff like that. I'm quite sure this is a lot easier in C++ code. But so far I haven't found anything that I really can't do in Blueprints. I'm not quite sure what the right translation is. Yeah, I mean, Google Translate gives me as a translation specialist application development. I'm not sure if that's correct. Well, it's basically official programming things with official, not certifications basically that I can use in Germany, and not just the stuff that I have at the moment, where I do have a certificate in game design and in game programming, but no one really sees them as official. And that's why I need to kind of do something else to get more chances to get a job. In Germany, you need to have specific papers to get a job sometimes, and basically doing another paper and also get a bit more theory and in programming and stuff like that I don't have now, because I'm kind of self-taught. And yeah, but that's 2 years that I have to spend on that. Luckily, I don't have to pay anything for it, but it's a time investment. I think I'll just remove that part here. And then go in here. Go through all this. Oops. Okay. Because I know that part of the code kind of works. And as far as I know, it works. It had a few issues, but that's just sorting issues. And then we should be able to reset to the previous mapping with that. And should go on here. Sorry about that. Okay. So if we actually want to change the mapping, For the actions we do this, but that's not enough for the access. Okay, so this is alt binding. So go from here down here. Okay. Oh yeah, I had the issue that we were removing too much, which means we need to figure this out. Let's move this down here. So the problem is if I'm removing, so we are not at the alt binding, and we get the last index for action mappings, and we're removing that. And then we are adding in the new key basically for this mapping. Which is okay. But doesn't really work for the alternate binding like that. Let's check if it's even working for the normal binding. Or the normal mapping, whatever you might call it. So let's see. Oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. Ouch. Okay. That's strange. Yep. Infinite loop detected. Okay. Probably not be set. Yeah, we get an issue here that we have part of the alternate binding, but not all. Yeah, we have stuff missing here. Okay. Okay, and this here is causing an infinite loop. Why? So we are getting the access names and go through all the access names. Then for each of the access names, we are going through another for loop for all the mappings for those keys. And then we are checking if any of these mappings are similar to the input key that we just pressed. Basically the new key binding. That's the same as the one that we already have somewhere. And if that's true, we are setting that and break, which would go to complete this here. And if we have this set, we are also breaking out of this loop here. And return the end result. Basically the same we are doing up here. But for some reason, doesn't want to do that. Oh, it's causing this to be an infinite loop. Which shouldn't be the case. Unless we have an issue here that it gets something wrong here for the access names, and the mappings here are also wrong for that access name. But that's nothing we have control over. What? No. Okay, so I just... For some reason it doesn't work anymore. I mean, it's setting the keys, I think, but it doesn't do anything else. Let's check that. Yeah, it set the keys correctly, but... There, so let's check. Do we... Okay, we didn't get any feedback. So the... So this part here didn't work. Yeah, and here I also need to go through more of these options to check it against the key. Oh, yeah, I can also use this thing that I created with them. Okay. Yeah, the big problem with this system is that it's quite complicated to check if a binding is set already and if it's yeah, if it's set already and then change only change it only if it's not set. Also kind of give feedback. That's mostly because the specific elements are not exposed to Blueprint. So we kind of need to do stuff like this. Just a lot of for loops. Basically for the same mapping here. I think that's also why a lot of people are just creating their own system for key binding, not use the built-in system. Because then they can create their own system, have full control over it, and just need to call part of the system when they set the keys in the end. kind of tempting to do something similar. Because this system here is quite annoying. If I want to check stuff and just see if a key is already set or key binding is already set. And get feedback. That's what I try to do here, but for some reason it doesn't tell me that the key is already set. So for instance, if I set this to T, should be able to do that. Because T is already set for teleport. Basically, for some reason it's completely ignoring parts of the code I said. Or it's not giving me the right feedback. That's screen resolution. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Just is not giving me the right feedback because it set this back to E for carry. Let's see if it's working if I try to change it to something that's valid. So let's see, put this to Ö, close it, quit, and now it's set to Ö. Okay. So it works, but it just doesn't give me any feedback anymore. Which is strange because it should do that here. Okay, what am I doing here? Just go directly here. Because I'm not sure if I really need all those checks. Because I just want to have the feedback that the key was already in use. Oh, I need that for up here, so nope, doesn't do anything there. Okay, what is that? Why is it? Set screen resolution. What is the issue here? Okay, that should be okay. Let's just write this here. From to access index of length 0. So this is not giving me something usable. So the easiest way is to check. That is bigger than 0. Then we are doing something here. Otherwise we are completely ignoring that. Should get rid of the error that we are getting there. That's not good. Okay, that's... Why is that happening? Okay, that's also something I need to change. So once this is opened, I don't want to change the resolution. Okay, but the problem is that the selection is changed. Damn it. Okay, it's still doing that. For some reason. The focus is completely off. Okay, now the focus is correct. Strange. Yeah, but the issue here is still that we don't have any feedback, and I'm really tempted to create my own widget for that and then go through it a different way. So basically, would kind of override a button and yeah, I would need to do a bit of research on that. It would be creating custom control, but then that custom control would do all the checks for me and basically do all the work. I could do that, yes. I should do that. I could do something else because I do have since I'm getting everything that I can get for free, I think I do have a complete options menu here somewhere that we can just use. Guess I thought we had that. Nope. Oh, user interface kit, but I'm not sure if we have an options menu in that. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Let's go look here. Yeah, okay, doesn't look like we have options menu here. Okay. I thought I had another system for that. The issue is that I have way too many different things here in my vault, basically, and I don't know what all of these are doing. So and those are just sounds. Menu builder. What's that? Yeah, okay, I just saw that the part that I want to add here might not be part of this. Controller and mouse and keyboard is grayed out. Not sure if this is part of that. Because this here I kind of have already. So just need to figure out my screen resolution issue, but other than that I don't need this. Okay. Yeah, I might just need to ask in forums or the Discord. If someone can help me there. Okay. Or maybe it's just not possible in blueprints. Could also be the case that it's the one thing that is not possible 100% in blueprints. Okay, so there are a lot of issues here. So let's just leave it at that for the moment, because I need to ask other people to help me out with that. Wait, let's jump back in here. Problem is, I don't know what to do at the moment here. I mean, okay, yeah, I can just do more cliff meshes and try to figure out how to build the cave, which I haven't done yet. So there still is a lot to do here, but I'm not sure if I want to do that now. Sorry about that. I mean, one thing that I could do is get the trees that I wanted to get and put them in. Then I also need to look into my AI issues that I had or have. Is that still here? Wait. Ah, damn it. Some of the lamps are in the wrong level. Yeah, this is also in the wrong. Got any other lamps in here? Oh, damn it, I still. Ah, yeah, that's the thing. I also need to kind of rebuild the houses. That's what I need to do. Okay, now the AI is there. And okay, now it loaded properly. We have all the pickups and all the AI, that's good. And they're walking around as well. Awesome. I mean, she's ignoring the schedule, but apart from that, do a bit of progress here. Yeah, basically what I need is a gameplay programmer that can help me with all these issues here, AI programmer and all that stuff, so I can focus on other aspects of the game. So the biggest issue is I'm working on it alone. But yeah, I think I will post in the forums and in Discord about my issues with the key bindings or key mappings, and see if I get an answer there. And then look into aspects that we can work on that are more interesting than just putting rocks against terrain cliffs. But I think I will stop here for today because I'm kind of tired, because I haven't slept last night. And then hopefully have an answer tomorrow, or find an answer with a bit more research. So that would be all for today, and let's find someone to raid.